What if the whole campus thought you were a monster because of one video she edited? That was the question burning in my head as I walked across the quad, every stare landing on me like a hit. I didn't even know the video existed until this morning when my phone buzzed non-stop with messages that twisted my stomach. In the clip, I looked angry, loud, explosive, everything I've never been. But she made it feel real. She cut out her own yelling, layered in shaky breaths, and left only the moments where I looked frustrated. Everyone believed it instantly, because a video feels like proof, even when it's a lie. And standing there, seeing people step aside like I was dangerous, I realized something terrifying. Once a lie spreads online, you can't control what version of you survives. And in that second, all I could think was, how do you defend yourself against something the whole world already decided is true? I kept telling myself the video had to be some kind of misunderstanding, something Maya posted without thinking. But looks I got said otherwise. Everywhere I went, the silence felt heavier, like people were waiting for me to explode the way the clip showed. I could feel my body tensing in ways I didn't recognize. A cafeteria door swung open and a group walked out, and one girl flinched when she saw me. That hit harder than anything I'd ever felt. I wanted to shout that I wasn't the person in that edit, that the truth wasn't loud enough to fight what she made look real. And the worst part, I still didn't know why she did it. I replayed the argument in my mind, searching for anything that could explain why she'd want to paint me like that. But all I found was a sickening thought. Maybe she planned it long before the fight ever happened. The more I walked through campus, the more it felt like the ground was shifting under me. Every whisper felt connected, every notification another blow I couldn't block. People didn't ask questions, they reacted. They judged. I tried texting Mia, hoping she'd deny being the one who posted the clip, hoping she'd say her account was hacked, or someone twisted the footage without her knowing. But her reply was short, cold. I don't feel safe talking right now. That sentence cut deeper than the video itself. It made her lie sound official, like she was the victim. I stopped walking for a moment, staring at the words on my screen. How fast can someone rewrite reality? And how fast can everyone else believe it? I couldn't shake the feeling that something about the video didn't add up. It wasn't just the missing parts. It was the timing. Why release it now? Why cut it so cleanly? It felt too intentional. I remembered the original argument. Tense. Yes, but nothing like what the clip showed. I wasn't shouting. I was frustrated and trying to explain myself while Mia talked over me. But the internet didn't get that version. They got the version where I looked like some ticking bomb. As I leaned against the railing behind the library, I tried to slow my breathing, tried to stop the panic, pushing up my chest. But all I could think was, if she could twist our argument this easily, what else was she willing to bend? By the time I reached the dorm courtyard, the weight of everything finally hit me. I wasn't just dealing with a rumor. I was dealing with a version of myself I didn't recognize, a version I didn't create. And no matter what I said, people believed the clip because fear is louder than truth. I sank onto a cold concrete bench, trying to steady my thoughts. The original video had to prove something. Maybe there was still a copy somewhere. Something Mia forgot to delete. The idea sparked a small, desperate hope. If I could find the real recording, maybe I could show everyone what actually happened. Maybe I could get my life back. Ow! By the afternoon, the fallout felt impossible to outrun. Every hallway, every doorway, every patch of campus air carried that same heavy silence. The kind people use when they've already decided who you are. I walked into my sociology class hoping for even one moment of normal, but the second I stepped inside, conversations died. A girl I'd partnered with last semester shifted her chair away, like I was contagious. The professor's eyes lingered on me longer than they should have. And that stare alone told me he'd seen the clip too. It was unreal how fast the story had spread, how fast people filled in the blanks with fear instead of facts. I kept replaying Maya's cold message in my head, wondering if she felt even a shred of guilt. But the truth was settling in like a bruise. She wasn't scared of me. She was scared of being exposed, and she'd rather watch my life fall apart than admit what she'd done. After class, I tried catching up to Mia. I didn't want to fight, I wanted answers. The hallway outside the lecture hall stretched long and quiet, and for a second it felt like maybe we could talk without everyone watching. But the moment she saw me walking toward her, her whole body tightened. She didn't look scared. She looked defensive, like she was already preparing another story. I asked her why she posted the video, why she cut it to make me look furious when she knew it wasn't true. She didn't deny it. She didn't apologize. She just whispered, "Please don't make a scene," loud enough for people nearby to hear. In that instant, she wasn't talking to me. She was performing for the audience she created, and I realized she'd rather keep the lie alive than admit she crossed a line she could never walk back from. I didn't chase her after that. There was no point. The moment she played the "I feel unsafe" card, the hallway shifted against me. People looked at me like they were waiting for me to explode, like the edited version of me was standing right there. So I walked away, even though everything in me wanted to stay and fight for the truth. I stepped outside into the cold wind behind the lecture building, the air sharp enough to sting. I leaned against a brick wall and let myself breathe for the first time since morning. If Mia wasn't going to admit anything, then I needed proof. Real proof. Something she couldn't twist or hide behind. The memory of the argument replayed again, her yelling first, her voice cutting through me long before I raised mine. If she recorded it, then there had to be an original. Something untouched. Something she couldn't spin. And that was the first moment I felt a spark of control return. I decided to talk to someone who actually knew me. Someone who wouldn't jump to conclusions based on a clipped video. Jordan was in the computer lab when I found him, headphones on, typing fast like always. He looked surprised to see me, and even more surprised when I explained what was happening. I braced myself for doubt, for the same uneasy look everyone else gave me, but instead he leaned back and said, "That edit doesn't look right. The audio's chopped." For the first time all day, my chest loosened. Someone finally saw what I saw. Jordan asked to hear the clip again, pointing out tiny glitches I'd missed, breaths that didn't line up, the weird background hum that suddenly changed mid-sentence. Hearing him break it down made the panic in my head quiet, just a little. Maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe I wasn't powerless after all. By the time we finished reviewing the clip, Jordan looked more serious than I expected. He told me straight up, the video wasn't just trimmed. It was intentionally altered. A splice on the audio waveform, a mismatched echo. Things a casual user wouldn't even think to modify. Hearing that made something inside me shift. This wasn't a heated moment posted without thinking. Mia had crafted it, built it, designed it to make me look exactly how she wanted. The realization made my stomach drop, but it also gave me something solid to stand on. If the video was edited, then we could prove it. Jordan said he could run a deeper analysis later if I could get the original file. The idea scared me, going after something Mia definitely didn't want me to find. But it also gave me my first real hope all day. Maybe the truth wasn't gone. Maybe it was just buried. Jordan's words echoed in my head the whole walk back to my dorm. This wasn't an accident. Someone did this on purpose. It changed everything. Before, I'd been drowning in confusion, wondering how things spun so far out of control. But now there was a direction, a target. And the closer I got to my building, the more the truth started lining up in ways that made my stomach twist. If Mia edited the video, she had the original. And if she had the original, she also had something to lose. That meant she'd hide it, protect it. Maybe she already deleted it, but maybe Maybe she forgot about the cloud backup her phone always syncs to. Mia never cleaned her digital storage. She took thousands of photos a month. If the file existed anywhere, it would be there. I wasn't sure what scared me more, finding the truth, or confirming that the girl who once said she cared about me deliberately tried to destroy my life. Inside my room, the silence felt loud. I sat on the edge of my bed with my laptop open, fingers hovering over the keys as I typed Maya's name into every search bar I could think of. Cloud drives, shared project folders, old class documents. Anything she might leave forgotten was connected. Part of me hated going this far, but another part reminded me I didn't start this. She did. And if she was willing to twist the truth to ruin me, then finding the real recording wasn't snooping. It was survival. After 20 minutes of digging, something finally caught my eye. A synced folder linked to a group project we did months ago. She never disabled the auto backup. My heart hammered as I opened it. Pages of photos loaded first, then audio files, then a video icon, a timestamp matching the night of the argument. I didn't click it yet. Just staring at the file made my breath shake. My hands hovered over the trackpad, but I still didn't press play. I needed someone who understood this stuff better than me. Someone who could tell me if what I found was really the untouched version. Jordan was the only person I trusted now. So I grabbed my hoodie and rushed out of my dorm. The entire walk back to the computer lab felt surreal. Like every step was taking me deeper into something I hadn't fully prepared for. I kept imagining what I'd hear in that video. The real argument, the truth I remembered, not the twisted version everyone had seen. My heart raced as I pushed open the lab door, thinking about what would happen if this file actually proved everything. Because once I heard it, once Jordan confirmed it, there'd be no going back. Whatever illusion Mia built, it would crack. And maybe that scared her more than anything. Jordan immediately spun toward me when I walked in, like he already knew I wasn't there for small talk. I told him I found a synced folder. Watch the way his eyebrows rose when I said the timestamp matched the night of the argument. He cleared space on his desk, motioned for me to sit, and opened his audio tools again. My pulse pounded in my ears as I handed him the laptop. He clicked the file once, only enough to see metadata. And instantly, his face shifted, not in doubt, in confirmation. He pointed at details I barely understood. Original creation time, unmodified audio track. No export signatures. This is it, he said quietly. This is the raw one. Hearing those words made my stomach twist with relief and dread. If this was the real video, then whatever I remembered, good or bad, was about to play back exactly as it happened. Jordan finally clicked play. The room felt smaller instantly. I heard Maya's voice first. Sharp, cutting, nothing like the edited clip where she sounded calm and terrified. She was yelling, frustrated, accusing me of things I never said. Then my voice came in. Quiet at first. Tired. Trying to explain. Hearing it was like reliving the moment all over again, but this time without the guilt that had been forced onto me. My hands curled into fists as the argument played out honestly. No splices, no artificial breaths, no twisted framing, just the truth. Jordan paused halfway and looked at me with a seriousness I'd never seen in him. You need to save this, now. And as I stared at the waveform on his screen, jagged, real, untouched, I felt something shift inside me. Fear didn't own me anymore. The truth was finally on my side. Walking across campus with the real video saved on my laptop felt unreal, like holding something radioactive. The truth was finally in my hands, but that didn't make the next part easier. I needed to confront Maya, not to scream, not to threaten, but to force her to face what she'd done. Every step toward her dorm felt heavier, my mind racing with what she might say. Would she deny it? Cry? pretend she didn't know, or worse, act like none of it mattered. When I reached her building, I paused at the entrance, watching groups of students chatting nearby. None of them knew I was carrying the thing that could tear her entire lie apart. My heartbeat felt too loud. I wasn't scared of the truth anymore. I was scared of what it would do when I finally put it in front of her. I caught up to Mia in the lobby. She froze the moment she saw me, not scared, just irritated, like I was an inconvenience she didn't have time for. I told her we needed to talk somewhere private. She rolled her eyes, muttering something about not doing this again. But when I said I had the original video, everything in her face shifted. Her shoulders locked. Her jaw clenched. She looked at me like she'd just been cornered. And for the first time since this nightmare started, she didn't look confident. She looked exposed. She tried to brush past me, saying she had class, but her voice cracked. That tiny crack was enough to tell me she knew the lie was falling apart. We started walking toward the side hallway, the one with no foot traffic. My pulse beat hard. Hers looked like it was doing the same. The hallway we stepped into was silent except for the hum of the vending machine at the far end. Mia kept glancing over her shoulder, like someone might suddenly appear to rescue her. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I simply opened my laptop and pressed play. The moment her real voice filled the empty hallway, all the color drained from her face. She reached out like she wanted to close the screen, then pulled her hand back. She couldn't deny it. Every word was hers, untouched, unedited, loud and sharp, in a way that didn't match her online act at all. When the clip ended, she whispered, "You weren't supposed to find that." And something about the way she said it, not sorry, not shaken, just annoyed, made my chest burn. She wasn't afraid of what she'd done. She was afraid she'd finally been caught. Mia backed against the wall, breathing unevenly. "You don't understand," she said, but the words felt hollow, rehearsed. I asked her why. Why she'd twist our argument into something it wasn't. Why she'd let the whole campus think I was dangerous. Her eyes darted everywhere except at me. And then the truth slipped out, not in a confession, but in frustration. "People were already on my side," she snapped. I just didn't want to lose that. Hearing that felt like someone knocked the air out of me. This wasn't panic. This wasn't fear. This was ego. Image control. She cared more about being believed than being honest. I felt something inside me go cold. I told her the video was the truth, and it was already saved. Her jaw locked. She knew there was no reversing what she'd done. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The truth hung between us, heavy and undeniable. Then Mia did something I didn't expect. She begged. Not for forgiveness, not for understanding, but for silence. "Please don't show anyone," she whispered, voice cracking. "You'll ruin everything." I stared at her, realizing she still saw herself as the victim. Even now, after everything, she cared more about losing face than the damage she'd done to mine. I told her calmly that I wasn't interested in revenge. I just wanted my life back, and exposing the truth was the only way to get it. She covered her face with both hands, sinking against the wall as the weight of her collapsing lie finally hit her. For the first time, I felt the shift. The moment the power she held over me broke. Jordan worked fast. Within hours, he had screen recordings, metadata captures, audio wave comparisons. Everything that proved the video Maya posted was edited. It didn't feel real watching him piece together the truth with such precision. Every click of his mouse was another confirmation that I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dangerous. I wasn't what she turned me into. Still, even with all the evidence sitting in front of me, I felt the weight of what came next. Posting this would flip everything. People who hated me would back Petal. People who supported her would turn on her overnight. And Mia. She would lose the story she'd crafted so carefully. But the damage to me was already done. The only way forward was to show everyone what she actually did. Jordan asked if I was sure. I didn't answer right away. I just stared at the raw video timeline, hearing her real voice echo in my head. And then I knew. The truth had to come out. Posting the truth wasn't as simple as hitting upload. I sat in Jordan's chair, staring at the edited clip on one side of the screen and the real one on the other. One lie, one truth, and in between them was everything my life had become. My hands shook as I opened a new recording window. I didn't rehearse. I didn't plan. I just spoke. I explained how the video was altered, how the argument really happened, and how easy it is to ruin someone with a single manipulated clip. I didn't attack Mia. I didn't insult her. I just showed the evidence, side by side, letting the truth speak louder than anything I could ever say. When I finally hit post, my heart felt like it was trying to escape my chest. Jordan put a hand on my shoulder, steadying me. The video started uploading, and for the first time, I wasn't scared of people watching. The moment the video went live, everything changed. My phone buzzed, non-stop, notifications exploding faster than I could read them. At first, it was confusion. People asking if the raw clip was real. Then, anger. Not at me this time, but at what Mia had done. Comments poured in from students who had avoided me, judged me, whispered behind my back. Now they were apologizing, admitting they jumped to conclusions, admitting they believed the worst version of me without stopping to think. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or furious. The truth was finally out, but it didn't erase the days I spent drowning in fear and shame. I stepped outside for air, letting the cool wind hit my face. For the first time in days, I wasn't hiding. I wasn't shrinking. The truth was out there, undeniable, raw, real, and Mia couldn't twist it anymore. By evening, everything reached a boiling point. Word had spread so fast that Mia couldn't escape it. People weren't whispering anymore. They were confronting her. Screenshots of Jordan's analysis circulated everywhere. Class group chats blew up with students talking about how wrong they'd been, how manipulated they felt. A few even messaged me directly, saying they regretted believing her so easily. I didn't respond. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt vindicated, but another part ached. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted my life back. When I passed the courtyard, I saw Mia sitting alone on a bench, hunched over, gripping her phone. She looked small in a way I'd never seen before. Not confident, not commanding, but cornered. And for the first time, she wasn't the one controlling the story. I didn't approach her. I didn't need to. The truth was finally standing on its own. And this time, everyone saw it clearly. I headed back toward my dorm, letting the night air cool my face. My mind felt exhausted but lighter, like a weight had finally loosened after days of pressure. The notifications kept buzzing, but I ignored them. I didn't need validation. I didn't need apologies. I just needed silence. The kind that comes after a storm breaks. When I reached my building, I paused by the door and looked up at the windows glowing across campus. Somewhere in those rooms were people who once judged me, and people who now knew the truth. And somewhere in there was Mia, finally forced to face the consequences of her own lie. I exhaled slowly. Whatever came next, at least it would be real. The shift on campus was instant. The same people who avoided me only days ago were now stopping in the hallways, offering hesitant nods or awkward half-smiles, like they suddenly remembered I was human. It didn't feel good, not the way I thought it would. Their apologies couldn't undo the hours I spent feeling like a threat to everyone around me. But what hit hardest was how fast they turned on Mia. Screens were filled with comments calling her manipulative, unstable, attention-seeking. I didn't want that. I didn't want anyone destroyed. I just wanted the truth. Standing outside my dorm that morning, I watched small groups gather around phones, reacting to the raw video with shock. The air felt different. Not lighter, but clearer. like fog lifting after a storm. And even though I didn't ask for any of this, I finally felt like I could breathe without the weight of a lie crushing my chest. The campus group chat exploded next. My phone buzzed nonstop with messages from people I barely knew. Some apologizing, some shocked, some angry they were misled. I skimmed past all of it until one message froze me in place. She's not leaving her room. I didn't know who sent it, but it made my stomach twist. I didn't hate Mia, even after everything. I just couldn't understand how she justified what she did. Maybe she thought the edited video would get her sympathy. Maybe she wanted attention. Maybe she wanted to punish me for something I didn't realize I did. As I walked toward her dorm, I wasn't planning a confrontation. I just wanted to see her face. Not the version in the video, but the real one. The girl I used to trust. The girl who now had to face the consequences of her own choices. I didn't knock right away. I stood in the hallway outside her door, listening to the muffled sound of her crying. It was quiet, the kind of crying someone does when they're trying not to let the world hear them. And even after everything she'd done, something in me twisted. I remembered the girl she was before all this. The girl who used to laugh too loudly and talk too fast and drag me into ridiculous arguments about shows we both loved. But that version of her wasn't here anymore. Instead, there was someone who weaponized a moment of frustration and nearly destroyed my life. I knocked softly. When she opened the door, her eyes were red, her expression empty. She didn't say anything. She just looked at me like she already knew why I was there. And for a second, neither of us breathed. She didn't ask how I found the video. She didn't deny anything. She didn't even defend herself. She just whispered, "I didn't think it would go that far." Her voice cracked on the last word, and for a second I almost felt angry again. Not because she lied, but because she still didn't understand the damage she caused. I asked her why she did it. Why she twisted the argument. Why she let everyone believe I was someone I'm not. She stared at the floor, hands trembling, and finally said the truth she'd been hiding behind everything else. Because I didn't want people to hate me. Hearing that shattered something inside me. She ruined my life to protect her image. And the worst part? She knew it. She knew exactly what she was doing. And now, she had to live with it. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse her. I didn't say half the things that had lived in my head for days. I just told her the truth. That what she did hurt me in ways she might never understand. That she didn't just damage my reputation, she shattered the trust I had in her, in people, in myself. She cried harder then, covering her face with both hands, apologizing through broken breaths. And even though I wanted to feel relief, I didn't. Her apology couldn't fix anything. The damage was already done. When I stepped out into the hallway, I felt empty. Not angry, not vindicated, just quiet. The truth was out. The lie was over. But nothing about this felt like a victory. It felt like the end of something that should have never been destroyed in the first place. The next morning, the campus felt strangely quiet. Not the tense, suffocating quiet from before, but the kind that settles after something breaks. People weren't avoiding me anymore. Some nodded as I walked by. Some offered quick apologies, but their words didn't stick. I wasn't angry at them. I wasn't even angry at Mia anymore. I was just tired. Tired of the chaos. Tired of the fear. Tired of trying to prove I wasn't the monster an edited video made me out to be. As I crossed the quad, I realized how much had changed in such a short time. Truth had finally surfaced, but the cost was deeper than most people would ever understand. I didn't feel victorious, just hollow. Like a version of me had been peeled away and replaced with someone who knew exactly how fragile reputation could be. Maybe that was the real ending. Learning that trust, once broken, doesn't grow back the same. I didn't plan on talking to Mia again. But fate had other ideas. We crossed paths near the library steps, and for a moment both of us froze. She looked smaller somehow, like all the confidence she'd worn like armor had finally cracked apart. She whispered my name, barely audible. I waited, unsure what she wanted to say. She didn't defend herself. She didn't try to explain. She just said, "I'm sorry," in a voice that didn't sound like an excuse. Just a truth she should have said long before everything fell apart. And maybe the strangest part was that I believed her. Not because it fixed anything, but because she didn't try to make herself the victim this time. The apology didn't erase the damage, but it did something else. It let me finally breathe without bitterness. It closed the wound instead of leaving it open. After she apologized, we didn't say anything else. No long explanations, no dramatic speeches, no attempt to fix what couldn't be fixed. We just stood there, two people who used to be close, now separated by something neither of us could take back. When I finally walked away, I felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. Sadness for what we lost. Relief that the truth no longer needed to be fought for. As I headed toward the student center, I realized I wasn't carrying the fear anymore. The stares didn't sting now. The whispers didn't weigh me down. The version of me that the edited clip created was gone, replaced by the truth that finally had room to breathe. And even though the damage left scars, I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't afraid of the world seeing me anymore. Later that evening, Jordan found me in the common room. He didn't say anything at first. He just dropped onto the couch beside me with 2 cans of soda and nudged one into my hand. That simple gesture meant more than any apology I'd heard all day. We sat there in comfortable silence until he finally said, "You did the right thing." I didn't feel heroic. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt steady, like I'd finally found my balance again after everything had been ripped apart. Jordan talked about rebuilding, about taking back control of my life in small steps, going to class, joining friends again, reclaiming the spaces I'd been avoiding. And for the first time, I believed him. Maybe healing didn't come from big moments. Maybe it came from small ones like this, sitting beside someone who never doubted me. That night, I walked out to the campus overlook alone. The spot where you could see the lights of the entire college spread out like a small city. I stood there for a long time, letting the cool air wash over me, letting everything finally settle. The truth had survived. I had survived. And even though the scars from this week would stay with me, they didn't own me anymore. I thought about how easily a story can be twisted, how fast people believe the worst when given the chance, and how important it is to protect your voice before someone else steals it. As I looked over the glowing campus, I realized something simple but powerful. The world could paint me however it wanted, but I finally knew who I was again. And that was enough.